So, good morning. My focus will be on schools. So, I have prepared several slides, and my presentation will have two parts. In the first, some general statements, and in the second part, some remarks on the situation of schools in the region I come from, in Brandenburg, which might be interesting for you as well, because some things might be similar. Before I start, I just want to refer to this small cartoon here on the first slide, and I just wanted to ask you whether you think that this is a role model for safer media. That means an Indian, a Native American, a campfire, a carpet to produce smoke signals. I have doubts about that. First, you can burn your fingers by using this media technology. You can have some kind of intoxication, some smoke poisoning, or this is the worst case, some not Native Americans can get the information and you will have a lot of trouble afterwards. So this refers to my second slide. This is the statement section. The information age is no cattle corner. It's a rough sea, so in a way we are all Native Americans or Indians, even if we are in Europe. If you look at the news these last weeks, and if you get the news of the hacking scandals, just to mention the acronym NSA, you know what I mean. So we have to refer to a very complex situation, and it's real life, and it's a complex life, and especially schools, if they want to challenge this new world, and from my opinion, they have to do this if they want to be good schools. They also have to be aware that these seas are a little bit rougher sometimes. And if they go out, they shouldn't go out like greenhorns, but like smart guys. So you know these roads from the movies on the Wild West. So I just used this as a kind of introduction in the whole topic. Statement number 2, this also refers to the situation 100% safety is not possible. I think the important thing for schools is that they have some kind of policy as far as safety is concerned. They don't have to exclude all the options, because if they do that, I think they lack space for creative educational concepts. But they have to be smart, as I said before. They don't have to be greenhorns. They have to know what to do if unexpected turbulences occur on their way out there. What are these? Might be these unexpected turbulences. I refer to this data protection issue. The copyright question was raised by Adam before. This is a very challenging topic for schools. Of course, within this conference, questions of child welfare are on the focus, and violence prevention. All these things, they can happen in daily life in schools, and they can cause a lot of problems. But if you have smart concepts how to deal with these challenges, you might be possible to keep on the track even in these rough waters. I also refer to media and media education. The use of media in education normally is done as a tool. So that means competence is created by the smart use of media, all the didactic questions linked to that. But it's a twofold thing. So if you use the media, you also have to take care of this other dimension. That means competences to use the media, not the increase of competence by using media, but the competence to use the media. You have to keep all these two dimensions into your focus, and it's not a static thing, but the technological development is moving on. So things change. We heard about the media revolution, all these steps within the last 100 years, and there was some media technological development before, and it will continue. So all this has an impact also on the use of media in schools, and you have to keep this in mind. I'm very much convinced that even if I come from a Ministry of Education, that top-down concepts are important, but the most important thing is that the schools, each individual school, finds its own way through all this, that they develop their own policies related to the specific conditions. Each school is unique, so you have a specific mixture. In one case, you have very supportive parents. In the other case, not. Each class, each group is different, and the setting is different. The equipment of the school is different. The competences of the teachers are different. Out of this, you have to find your ideal path and your ideal approach, your ideal policy to go into the media world. So let's refer to the situation in Brandenburg, where I come from. It's one of the federal states in Germany, and it's the one closest to the Polish border. So it's exactly west of Poland and around Berlin. And we are also, which is interesting, a center for creative industry. So there is a lot of professional media competence in our region, but the challenge is also to introduce this professional media competence into the schools. We have some problems. I guess in Poland it will be the same to a certain extent. I don't know, but it might be an interesting point for the discussion that the demographic, from a demographic point of view, there's a change happening. So there are less people in future. So the people move. They leave the countryside. They go to the big cities, and to the big city of Berlin in the center of Brandenburg in particular. So in the remote areas, you really have growing problems to have some sustainable basic infrastructure kept there. So this is a thing we have to keep in mind. In that regard, also the number of schools is decreasing, and this faces problems because you might know that only to a certain distance it's possible for students to come to the schools. Otherwise, they really have a lot of problems. So in that regard, it would make sense to have more blended concepts of schools or cooperation of schools together. But due to the infrastructural situation, we do not have broadband access for schools, especially in the remote areas. To that regard, we would need it. So this is a big challenge, and in that regard, also a pity. So how smart are schools in Brandenburg right now? There are some figures on the equipment, but the equipment is not a unique indicator for smartness, but it's important to know how the schools are equipped with ICT technology. So these numbers got better, but they are, of course, not as good as the situation in other parts of the world. So probably the last evaluation was from 2010. So right now we might be around, let's say, 5 or 6 students sharing one computer. So this might be the ratio. So I think this is a very positive step forward, but there might be changes. So bring your own device, which was mentioned before, might be something also together with content. The publishing houses might offer interesting packages in future, so which might have a strong impact on the situation as far as the ICT equipment is concerned. At the moment, we have around 750 public schools in Brandenburg, and then there are some another 170 private schools. The interesting thing is, as far as the public schools are concerned, there are 240 public school authorities. They care for the material welfare of the schools. So the state level is on the teachers and on the curricula, and the material equipment of the schools is in charge of public school authorities. And these schools, they are in a process of change. So it's not a change from one side, from the Gutenberg, from the print area to the Zuckerberg universe, but in reality it's a blending, it's a mixture. So you see on the one side this classical print culture, which is, you know, the school book. I think so. From my observation, it's still the leading media in school, but it has to be, and it is enriched to a differing scope with digital media. So this also means that the schools have to find their own way, that they find the suitable balance between the two worlds, so not Gutenberg against Zuckerberg, but together. I think they are a good team, or they should be a good team, and the schools could make the best out of that. In Brandenburg, we decided we had a first campaign introducing ICT in school, and this was much more technology driven. But with this second wave, we put a strong emphasis on the educational goals, and we had to find some kind of balance also between the different levels of authorities. That means the federal state authorities and the local authorities. And the general aim was to empower schools to start this comprehensive process in a smart way. How is this process or could this process be structured from our point of view and also from our experience? We introduced this kind of cycle model. So in the middle you have a phase one. So in the schools you have to have a team on your media concept, and you have to make some kind of analysis of the starting situation. Before, it was said that you should have a focus on the media usage of the students and of the parents, and this is a very important starting point to develop a strategy. You have to have a kind of inventory on the existing media. You should have a discussion on the wider goals as far as media literacy and media education is concerned. Normally schools have their program, and the program is so broad in the topics that it's quite easy to insert also this dimension of media education in school programs. But then it's like the constitution of the school. It's very important that it gets into the school programs, because then together with the public you have to create to get this change in the school constitution. You also have a mandate to start implementing media education on a much more reliable way than it was before. So it's not a question of single projects, but really a question of school development, of a cultural change which is happening in the schools. And of course, from these pedagogical goals, you have to concentrate then on the technical side, so that the two aspects match together, and you have to ask for support by other stakeholders as far as schools are concerned. So the teacher conferences, the parents, they are important partners to get this process running. In Brandenburg, we used that is now the shift from policy to politics a little bit. We used structural funds from the EU to start this process in the schools. So we could use these funds for the investment in ICT in schools, but we did not give the money to the schools or to the local authorities blank, but they had to get into this process before. So we had some kind of quality management as far as school concepts are concerned. And if these school concepts match basic standards of the process, then they were given the funds for the investment in school ICT. We made it was a project which was in the last 5-6 years, so it's a long-term project, but it changed a lot, and it created a situation that you have a setting of schools all over the country with different profiles, and then you can combine these schools in a smarter way than it was before. So each school has this own concept. So this is an example of a school from Potsdam. So they had this cross-curricular approach. So they introduced a special profile called Media and Communication, which means that particular subjects cooperate for defined periods of time. Within this slide you can see here is this Media and Communication course. It's an additional course, and informatics and arts. But of course with other subjects it's possible as well. And they in the background, this was a situation 3 years ago, they had in each semester they had a central topic, and it's also reflecting to this media change which was mentioned before. So they started with print media, and then they moved to film, audio, multimedia, and also the methods change. So this is a kind of school curriculum which helps to make media education much more reliable. So this proved to be very helpful to get out of this situation that you are just jumping from one project to the other and you lose sometimes the overview where you are actually. From a ministry point of view, if you have a lot of schools with these concepts, our task is to support these efforts in the schools by a support system. One approach for such a support system is that you concentrate on certain aspects of media education. In this case, as I said before, as we are a center of media industry, we have a lot of film production in Brandenburg. So we try to link the film production with the schools, and to have an emphasis on film education, because before Gutenberg, print, this is still the leading model, but in the media, multimedia world, a lot of communication is done by audiovisual means. So film language is the media language. So if you concentrate on film, it's like a bridge from the, let's say, 19th, 20th century to the 21st century. And we like to support schools also to make this shift a little bit away. We know that it's not completely possible, but just some steps further on away from this 100% print culture, more to a mixed culture, let's say 80% or 85% print and 50% audiovisual. So this might be a reliable milestone in this whole process. And of course, you don't know these institutions. It's important to encourage networks around schools, so that schools understand they are not left alone in this Wild West, that they are partners, that they can find allies, so that they get additional support. So this might be the NGOs taking care of certain aspects, and they have to be just introduced at the right time in the fitting situation, so that the school can make the best benefit out of these supportive networks we try to develop around. We do know that this process is a long-term change process. I think also if politics is faster, it has a 4 to 5 year circle. These changes take longer. I think within the last media revolution, which was with Gutenberg, it took about 150 years till the society managed to cope with the cultural change. I think in this case it might be faster, but it's not a question of years, but I think more a question of decades. And I think we can be good partners in this process. So I will end with this message that we like to empower schools to keep on in this change process and to make the best use of the possibilities which are nowadays available to have good results and strong and happy students and people of society in the future. Thank you very much.